YouTube is broken. We alive? YouTube seems to be broken on this end. I can't see any. I can't see my own video. Oh, it looks like we're back up. Or is it playing? No, it's playing my old one. Damn it. We alive? Ha, very funny, Cormac. That's strange, the playback's completely messed up. It's reckoning that I've got a 1 hour and 2 minute stream going on here. I don't know what has happened. Let's hope this doesn't die at 1 hour and 2 minutes. Guess we'll see, shall we? I don't know what's going on. Alright. Okay, well, I guess we'll just get to it then. Let's see, 1466. Everyone goes, oh, yawn, boring. But I like the 1466. It's got a pretty good success rate. Let's see. I have to take this panel off remotely. I was thinking of making some vinyl wraps or something like that, which I can put on the top and the bottom case, top and bottom of the laptops. Yeah, you can get that moderately heavy vinyl, and it just sort of has the electrostatic sort of adhesive effect. And if I get something like a black or a blue or something, anyway, as long as it's opaque, and then I can apply it on the top and bottom of the laptop, particularly on the back screen, and then that way I won't worry too much if I slide it a little bit on the desk. Okay, panel off. Let's have a look. Okay. SMC unresponsive, eh? First thing I noticed is the screw for the drive is missing. Good to make note of these things so that later on I can go, hey, I'm not the one that lost that screw. Hey, Paul Baker. James. Jim. Alright, so that's that. Yeah, I don't like being blamed for something that wasn't my fault. Tim's got that screw. He probably has. He probably sold it off to an L for $3. Yeah, we take the battery out, of course. It's not something we need. Hey, Tony W. Pedro. Margarita's here too. Alright. Shouldn't all you people be at work? Okay, first thing that comes to mind is there's a bit of a blotch here. And looks like there could have been liquid around about that spot there. Just can't see anything on the battery side. Alright. I might plug power in and see what happens. Let's see. I'm actually feeling very tired tonight, but I figured I'd still at least try to get one machine done. Got to keep you all entertained, don't I now? Okay, memory. Okay, Let's see what happens. Where's our beloved chipmunk? There we go. Power up, fan spin. Interesting. Bong. Extra interesting. And blink. Alright. This thing is completely alive. So it's going to be a case of we take the board out and we look for perhaps corrosion damage that has been moved around in the transit process. As like I said, this business that sends these machines to me, they are fairly pedantic about what they send up. They also even have a chipmunk down there to help them. And so if they say it's not working properly, then it's possible it's not working properly. Hey Dan Andrew. Yummy steak. Marcel van der Broek. Prater, Sodderbridge. Although this, I mean, this isn't an episode of House. It's a reasonable plausibility, and I've had a number of them happen like this, that it shifts during the transit, you know, the shaking and jumping around when it's being shipped up to me causes parts to just shift slightly, corrosion to crack, things like that, which makes the machine work again. So basically, the postal company is doing percussive maintenance for me. They think they're being helpful, but it actually is not really. Tariq, love your videos, newcomer. Well, welcome. How did you find me? Just YouTube recommendation, or someone like Lewis Rossman or Tim Herman? It's like Little House on the Prairie. Okay, I'm not sure how that relates. I can't remember that show. Hey, Newsboy. A couple more screws to go. I think we're good. Get that off. Nothing showing on the back plastic either. This could be a tricky one. This could be one of those, I'm not going to show you any defects whatsoever, but I'm going to be faulty. It does look like it's had some kind of a wash over it. Well, man, talk about a whistle coming through my mouth then. It's got some kind of like a wash look over it. Let's see if I can... Tricky. Luca, this is the chipmunk, and it shows me if I've got power on SO state, and then it shows me if that power is actually a steady 5 volts or a proper 5 volts, and then after that it will show me if there is any CPU activity. So plugging this in is equivalent to getting a fan spin, making sure you've got a proper fan spin, and also making sure you've got a living CPU, all without having to plug in anything else. And of course it tests your USB ports as well. Could SSD fault cause no response? Potentially. Let's start over in the corner and work our way around. Thought that felt a bit zoomed in. You can see the wash effect I'm talking about. It's like a very slightly greasy look. That's evaporated off, almost like it has been ultrasonicked. Hey Christian, I did see that you turned up last. Okay, so there's a bit of corrosion there, so there's hope that we may find something yet on this board. Because if we don't, then I'm not sure what to suggest. Little bits of sand. It's got the prerequisites for yeah, okay, look, here we go. This is basically just going to be an SMC replacement, I think. Or certainly a reball. So it's gone straight into the SMC. That is like the second... It's like the second Lord of the Rings movie, the Twin Towers, when they sent the chap with the explosive right into the little tunnel. That's what they've done here. Yep. Yep. They've run in there and they've blown up. And taken out the whole board. Weakened everything. So we'll just take that SMC off. There's no point no point trying to reflow that. Best to just reball it, get it over and done with, or replace it rather. At least we found it. That's the more important thing in this case. Okie dokie doke. Well, SMC reballing is sometimes the most favourite thing that people like to watch. For whatever reason. Hey Nick469, how you going these days? Pardon me. Paul's here for the SMC reball. Fair enough. I mean, I could try and just, reflow it, but it's almost a certainty that reflowing it will not be enough. It will want to be replaced. I do love this Grim Reaper. Hey David Parker, how's it going in Maine? Isn't Maine famous for, is it lobsters? Or is that just an unfortunate popularity thing? Mark Bianco, thank you for the ice cream contribution. Our toilets don't go backwards. They don't spit sewage back out at us. We rely on the media to do that for us. I'm tad stressed. need to learn how to set up small business in the UK. Ah, well, I guess it's a learning experience. I mean, it can be difficult when it's forced upon you, but sometimes that is also does provide a great deal of incentive, even if it's not really. Oh yeah, see, that's why you can't just reball these things, reflow it. That's actually very messed up. A little rainy today, famous for lobsters, but not one of my favourite. Oh well. Let's see, get some flux down. That's probably one of the worst SMC corrosion jobs I've seen in a long time. Anyone see the mess that... Oh, the corking. Yeah, it would have been nice if he'd used a bit of soapy water or something on his finger just to smooth it out, but that's okay. He'll learn. Or he won't. That's his choice. But yeah, I was thinking, soapy water, soapy water. So maybe you'll use that next time. Alright, to get this scum off, I'm going to use my 80-20 mix. So this has got a 20% water in it just to help lift off water-soluble components. I've got a couple of pads on the verge of coming off there. That's looking pretty good. Doesn't even have to be soapy. Yeah, well, when you lick your finger, that's a whole new mix of interesting things. Similar effect though, but yeah. I'll stick with soapy water. Hello, Vivek Kumar. Okay, I'm not sure if that's an NC or... Damn, I'm blind. Feels a little too well attached to be an NC, but it could be. I'm not going to bother opening up the board view at this point. We may have a bit of corrosion just here. Or it might have just been an unlucky scratching. Okay, we're going to hot air wick this. You know you may regret that later. Regret what? I'd be very surprised if I regret hot air wicking. PP3v3 WAN pad. Yummy steak, it would be the same in that case, so yeah. Thought it felt a little bit too well bonded down to be a NC, so thanks. Not checking the board view. Ah, right, okay. I didn't have to. I was helped out. Yummy steak did it for me. Tried wrapping a little wick around the air nozzle the other day and used it almost like a paintbrush to wick some pads. Yeah, it can be very effective. Like, I prefer to hold the wick. Okay, that's stable enough. Okay, at this point we can leave that as is, and we've got to go find ourselves another SMC. Thankfully, my stock of SMCs did arrive, so I'm not up the creek this time. Let's see. Dead. 165. 165 with an SMC. Look at that, they're even putting it under tape now. Protect them. Hey James. What is... Feels like something was burning up then, I don't know what it was. Could hear it doing popping and cracking. Mr. Baker, extra ice cream to provide more SMC replacement motivation. Ah, well, I was already doing the SMC, but I'll definitely take your £5 and get more ice cream. Yeah, I don't know what the snap pop or crack was. I don't have any rice bubbles on here, so it's got me. It was a weird sound. It's sometimes if one of the strands of hair, one of your own strands of hair, starts burning up, it can have that effect. But I couldn't see anything. I certainly couldn't smell anything. So that was definitely a weird one. Cap type route above the SMC mood. What you talking about on this board? Because it doesn't really matter with this one. This is just the donor. Hey Dave User, how long did it take you to build up your stock of donor boards? A couple of years. Most of them are from AliExpress. A few of them are from, pardon me, from customer contributed jobs. But yeah, the majority are come on, think, Paul. Majority are from AliExpress. I think I've got a bit of a problem with my balls here, just everywhere. I'm gonna have to clean this holder pretty soon. Hello, Velodum. What's with the name change? Different account? It's pretty good. Yeah, iPad, you're right about that, but it was weird because it was on a donor board, and that board is the first time I've put anything onto it. And that's been sitting here in this room for quite a while, so I mean, you're right, it is normally moisture that makes that noise, but I can't understand why in this case, or where it's come from. I'm just washing the stencil. I do have to wash this board as well, the holder. But we'll do the stencil first. By the way, hello Jessica, sorry if I didn't say hello just before. Okay, we'll take this out gently. And we're also just going to watch it. We don't want any flux on these when we do the reballing. At least not till we're ready to put flux on it. Because it just causes dramas. So I'm going to have to scrub out some of these. There's a bit stuck in there. We'll scratch them out. Gotta get rid of them. This is what happens when you don't have proper cleaning rituals after you've used your tools. And all that happens is your cleaning rituals happen when you start using your tools. Which is probably not the best thing because sometimes you're pressed for time. So yeah, that's a good habit not to have. Try as I might, I still seem to have it all these years later in my life. ultrasonic it real quick. Nah. There's one ball down there, that's not going to cause any dramas. Oops. Just checking on that 1398 332 board that we did last night. That's just come out of the ultrasonic and the cooking oven. It's looking like it really actually probably could go in for another round. There was a lot of flux on that one. And I did also buy the contact cleaner today, so we'll check that out in a little bit too. Alright, let's get our chip. Actually, I'll just heat up that section first. Dry out that wayward alcohol and water. And that must be flux because it's not really evaporating. Focus is out. I'll be honest, I'm actually having a hard time ascertaining focus there. I'll just have to go with what I can see. Getting some tape. I'll be glad when I get my CNC machine I don't have to use tape anymore. Hey JCT, welcome back. I'm desperately wanting to make my SMC reballing tool so I can reduce a substantial number of these steps. It drives me insane how inefficient this really is. Alright. Get myself some 0.35s. Yeah, well, I will do that, Dan Andre. I will do that once I've got it. Can I get away with using my fingertip this time? I always find the fingertip so much better than the, what do you call it? The cotton earbud things. I mean, look at that. That's a perfect installation of the balls just using the fingertip. Much better. Would it help to make it a habit to chuck the stencil chip in it? Probably not really. Because that means I've got to hold them off until the ultrasonic is yes. I think it would help if I was just a better person. Okay, we'll come down to 25 air, 390 degrees. As long as you don't touch your face. Yep. Okay, and we just heat this up till those balls start deforming. Like that. That's good enough. And then we drop in some flux. And hopefully don't... I was going to say, hopefully don't pick up any balls out of the holes. Sometimes what happens is if the flux cools down too much, or the stencil cools down, the flux has enough grab to yank them out. That's okay, it was just that one. Okay, now we come back for the full heat. There'll be a couple of stragglers that don't want to jump. Oh, the one on the bottom left there. We can convince them just by stabbing them a little. Oh yeah, yep. He changed his mind. He said, alright, I'll comply. And that should be that. Hey, Yomad? UMAD, rather. Thank you, Jim. Okay, it should be cooled off enough now. It certainly is still hot enough though to burn my finger, just like it did then. Who needs fingers? There we go. Pretty much a perfect SMC. I'll bring that into focus just now, but for the moment... Ah! I know why things felt different. I didn't use the two-ball method. I was wondering why I was confused why I was using tape. I was like, why am I using tape? I don't normally use tape. That's because I didn't use the two-ball method. Well, no, well, practice of old methods. Yeah, we don't normally use the tape method anymore. That was, yeah, that was a little weird. I mean, both methods work. I just prefer to use the two-ball method because it means I don't have to use tape. Because I'm not a big fan of having to use tape every time. Yeah, just staying proficient. Sure, that's what it is. I'll have to give this one a wash. You can see it's got a bit of junk floating around on it. It's going to wait a little bit for it to cool down. I don't want to go hitting it with alcohol. That'll make it chill down very quickly. Probably just good enough. Yep. Okay, now we can get it. I don't usually like scrubbing them off like this because I'm always worried that I'm going to dislodge a ball. Maybe it, hasn't quite fully sat in on the pad. And I'm not worried too much that it might be a bit of a problem once it's installed, because usually once it's installed it ends up, reflowing just nicely. That trash on the outer edges is kind of triggering me a bit. Still not perfect, but it is better. Close enough. Just gonna get some heat and a little bit of flux into here. We'll blow most of it away though. Hey, where the heck did that ball come from? Now I've got to check the SMC to make sure it's not missing a ball. If it was, it'd really stand out, so I think we're good. It must have just been a wayward collection from when I was using the flux to prime the stencil before I did the full reflow. Ta-da! It's all done. I just used Press Fit SMC. Just kidding, of course. Hey Mafia, do you want to drop the all caps? Feel welcome to sit around, but drop the caps if you can. Turn off cap locks. How do you line up the chip correctly before you start to heat it? That in itself is an art that I have not perfected. It's a case of you just guess it. It sort of looks good enough, and then you just gently heat it, and so long as you're within a pad radius, it should draw itself into position on its own. And a single pad radius, or pitch rather, it's not... See how it's sort of trying to pull itself into place now? It's not quite there yet. There we go. Why the hell does that look crooked? Am I just being pedantic again? I swear that looks crooked to me. I think I'm just being paranoid. So there's a bulge or a bend in the board or something around that area. See how those middle balls are pushed up slightly? I don't know what to make of that. It's rather peculiar. I guess we'll find out if it's up to if it's going to work or not. Powered on, watch for magic smoke. Yep. So we don't need the fan because we've got the chipmunk. I've actually got 2 chipmunks here. That said, it was working before. It's just the SMC was perhaps playing up. Maybe it was running at high speed or something like that. Well, not much else we can do but plug it in and see what happens, eh? Green light, power up. And now we wait. 500, it's a little higher. That's about 100 milliamps higher than I'm used to. Oh, we've got a green light and it is back down to what I'm used to, just under 400 milliamp. Okay, that's good. We'll put it back in the chassis and we'll boot it with the test disk and see if our valley performance and temperatures are where we're expecting it to be. B-Dog, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Appreciate your US $2. By the way, can you guys do something about the state of the finances in your country and make your US dollar back to the strength it should be? Because I really want to transfer some money back into Australia, which is it's in US dollars. And it was great when the Australian dollar was worth 55 US cents. As you can imagine, that's pretty damn close to, about $1.80 Australian per US dollar. Now it's at about 70 cents, so I'm getting far less dollars for my money. So sort out whatever's going wrong so that I can become a richer man for no work. That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. I'm just getting the excess flux off so that when I put it back into the chassis it doesn't mess up the chassis too much. Actually, I might just put it in my own chassis. And even that, I don't want my own chassis getting too gummed up with flux. When you get your CNC, could you possibly make SMC placement die? That's the plan, iPad, for you? Yes. That is the plan. There's actually been a shortage. I don't know what's going on, but I have not been able to find any of the the CNCs that I was looking to get. I don't know where they've gone. It was the 2530 or 2030 size, so basically 200 by 300 millimeter, something around that. I don't want a big one. I just want a compact desktop one, but not so compact that I can't do anything more than a little thimble or anything. So yeah, for me the 2030 size was about right. Anyway, I can't find them anywhere at a reasonable price. It's like China decided to stop making them or something. And I know some people say, just make your own. And it's like, I really don't want to be doing that. I'll assemble one, but I really don't want to go through the pains of making up my own and going through the learning process. It's kind of like, make your own multimeter, or make your own power supplies, or make your own soldering iron. It can be fun, but I'm really not in the mood. I just want to have one that works. You don't mind the Australian, you just bought a scale. Well, Yeah, it's true. If you have Australian dollars and you want to buy US products, then the market now is ideal for doing that. So fortunately, I do have sufficient Australian dollars on hand so that I can still purchase all the things I need to and just keep piling up the US dollars until such time that the currency does inevitably tank out. I was kind of hoping it would with the Victorian COVID-19 outbreak. Usually things like that tend to make the market crash down a bit. But for some reason the market was a little bit resilient against that, so I was like, curse you. Okay. Okay, so this is my macOS boot. Might as well test the USB port at the same time. Buy a decent manual mill and install CNC mod. I don't have the room for a decent mill. I wouldn't mind one. Send me a Bridgeport. Get it out. I'll have to buy a whole new house just to fit that thing. Yeah, Sonia, a lot of stocks have trashed out. Those people who bought into the what was that anti-malaria medication? All the people that invested big on that, oh man, they're going to be hurting for a long time now. The keyboard is plugged in, yes. Hey Doobs, thank you for the £4. Coffee, that's coffee money, isn't it? Where in the UK are you? Need some dingo dollars. Yeah, this thing's gonna come out. Yeah, I don't know why there's any... not much point in me holding that keyboard. It'll do what it's gonna do. It just takes a while. Cecilia from Poland. Australia has a simple economy mainly based on natural resources. That is correct. And unfortunately, we've been lucky for a great deal of time just winging it on that economy, on the strength of our resources. And it's created a country that really is not prepared for handling a more sophisticated manufacturing type economy. We used to have it. We were getting somewhere, and then we just dropped the ball and decided, nah, let's dig stuff out of the ground and sell off the raw material to China. They're giving us money. What's the worst that could happen? Nottingham. Oh, well, there's a place I know. Not directly, but just indirectly. I have a full-size mill in the garage, but you can get decent desktop mills. Yeah, I'll see what I can do when I get my workshop. Wow, this is... what's going on with this? Got display connected? Yep. Is there something we did wrong? Is it just very slow to boot? This is not good. The screen is energized. It's not just... and it's still trying to access the drive. Not sure what's going on here yet. Recheck everything maybe. If it is in a SMC bypass mode, then that would explain it taking forever to come up. I'll give it another 30 to 60 seconds. Yeah, the SSD is flashing. It's working on something. The fan is going fairly strong. Blinky stick too optimistic. No, well, the blinky stick was being truthful. Oh, we just had a flash then. And the blinky stick just says there is a living CPU. Doesn't necessarily mean that the body that it exists in is functional. If it was a prime reset, I would have expected to hear a bong. Right. I'm gonna kill this just now. I'm just gonna see if we get a blinking folder, if nothing else. Oh, it might need one. Yeah, that's true, yeah, with the new SMC. Good point. In which case, I would most likely be better off putting it into the chassis that it's meant for. So that it... I'm not sure if the prime reset does this, but there often are cases where they refuse to work with a screen because of the EDID serial number or something. I haven't had it happen very often, but I have had it happen. And you do a prime reset and then bam, all of a sudden the screen comes to life. And the screen was working with other boards, and the board would work with other screens. It was one of those weird situations where that specific board will not work with that specific screen. That fault kept me pulling my hair out for quite some time. It was an impressive challenge. Ach, Niemann, get under there. Oh, no wonder I can't see. Like I said, I've only had it happen once, but it did drive me insane. More insane. Out of business, what sort of business do you run? Yeah, I'm just a sole trader, which is not perhaps the most effective in terms of tax, but if you're willing to sacrifice a bit of tax, then you do get back a fair bit of sanity. The downside is that in terms of liability, you are exposed. So most certainly ensure that you do have proper business insurance, liability insurance. Still, it might be a little bit different in the UK. Is that why you let your hair grow so long now? Yeah, so I don't have to relive the horrors. Laziness, my good friend, is the reason. Okay, we got a bong. Wait for the next one. Okay, cool, Mac. Take care. Okay, this keyboard did not respond. That I should have had my next bong, but instead it's running off. So it didn't actually do a pram reset. Try that again. I'll do it the way I normally do it, which supposedly isn't the correct way, but whoopee-doo. Stuart Menzies, you're welcome to sit back in class with only a few lashings. Yeah, this thing doesn't seem to be responding to keyboard. Is it troll time? It is, yeah. Hey, Ron Rogers. I have a feeling that SMC is no good. Something's not right with it. Let's see if I've got a... you know, I believe that if we got to the point where we booted and it actually... we couldn't get the WAN, but the wireless, but at this state, I don't think I would be attributing it to that yet. Anyway, I'm going to put this in, see how it responds. Given that this is a 165, there's a pretty good chance it should boot. Even if it is an APFS. Yeah, we're getting nothing on screen. Okay. Nothing on screen. We'll try the external display. It's rather peculiar. Oh, we do have a screen, yep. I just had to convince it that I was going to plug something in. Okay, and that is indeed me. I don't know what password I got on this. Oh, I was lucky. It is 4 ones. Yeah, I didn't like it when I said I was going to plug it to the external, and I was like, no, I'll do it. Just didn't feel like doing it today. This is definitely running slow. I feel like it is... Well, the fan's not going flat out though. Okay, no Wi-Fi, that's to be expected. Valley test is installed. Oh. Oh, their trackpad is dead. I mean, this works, but there's no click in it. What have they done to it? There's no... it's like when you replace an iPhone screen and you don't get the button clearance and it just stays jammed on. What am I looking for? I'm guessing there's no way to activate a frame reset from within this, is there? Can you do it from command line? Let's see. Niemand. T frame reset from command line macOS. Enter sudo. Oh, okay, you can do it. Okay, we're gonna do it this way. Terminal, you just do nvram -c. That's it. Easy peasy. Just gotta first tilt the machine down. Get a terminal up. So sudo nvram -c. And that's that done. Sudo shutdown -restart 0. Oh, now. Christian, I was using Fluxbox. I was for a couple of weeks using, pardon me, I was for a couple of weeks using Unity that came with Ubuntu 2004. But eventually I got sick of not having fast access to the things that I want. And so I switched back to Fluxbox. Hello, booting? Ah, there we go. Hey, Pilnov. See you snuck in there. I'm going to be curious to see what's going on with the trackpad as well. It could either be the dome has collapsed, that's pretty common, or it's missing the little nipple, which is also pretty common. Still taking too long to boot. Don't know what's going on here. I have a feeling Valley's going to run at about 3, maybe 4 frames per second. I don't think it's going to do much better than that. It may be because I don't have the what do you call it? It may be because I don't have the battery installed. So this is not my normal boot system for testing. Yeah, normally my normal boot system's that. But this is just an old one that I had. Well, the sound works. We know that. Oh, we know that from the bong. Given how long it's taking, yeah, I'll be lucky if it's doing more than 4 or 5 frames per second. Victala. Good. Very good, thank you. And yourself? Okay, this is one of the low end ones. It's a 1.64 gig, so alright. No, it's not doing too bad actually. 14 frames per sec. That's actually not bad. But that this touchpad's driving me insane, so I'm gonna pop that open and have a look at that. So shut down. Victor, I missed my lesson yesterday for Duolingo. Unfortunately, I had to spend time with the cat that had come back from the vet clinic. She was just too upset from the procedure. So yeah, I sort of sat down with her and looked after her. Certain priorities have to take precedence. Yeah, so there's no clearance there. So it's either a dome collapse, a missing nipple, or they've tweaked it and pushed it in too far. It doesn't really look like they've meddled with that yet, so we'll try see if anything happens when I put a T5 in there. You won't see it because just wind it back 3/4 of a half a turn even. No, still nothing. Yuck. No, I'm gonna have to take that trackpad out and have a look. I'm gonna ignore that comment about my cat. Thanks, Slotton. Steve K. How could you say such things? Let's see. I always forget which row that I can take off with the trackpad to get it out. Every single time, I can guarantee you I will pick the wrong row of 3 screws. It's just what I do. Victor, today I was watching videos on people making noodles again. Yep, and a interesting way to study languages. Hey, Ollie Repair Dude. How are things in Singapore? Yeah, I picked the wrong row already. I'm pretty sure of it. So we're going to end up taking 12 screws out. Yes, sirree, Paul. Oh, wait, no, maybe not. No. Okay, it just feels like it's all gummed up in here. Interestingly, the nipple is fine. I can feel it. And it clicks. It's just there's a whole bit of junk up here or something. Watch, I'll fix this, and then the customer will complain that their trackpad doesn't feel like they like anymore. It's like, someone changed the trackpads. It doesn't feel soft anymore. Okay, that looks fine. That looks fine too. I don't understand. Okay, let's have a look from the top. The trackpad itself functions fine. It's just the click bar mechanism is all very strange. Okay, here we go. Yep. You can see it now. A bit awkward. You can see this build up of cruft. See all that? It's like salty residue or something. Probably from the tears of sharks. And it looks like I need to actually wind that in more, not out. So we'll clear up this residue and then we'll wind the strike pad in a bit more. Yeah, cruft is the word I use for stuff that's not supposed to be there. and it's probably water soluble, so we're going to use the 80-20 mix. Yeah, it's, yeah, look at that. It's like a great big salty crusty yuck. Good thing you're wearing gloves, Paul. Rather unpleasant. I might clean the edges of this as well. First, before I finish, I'll use these gun cleaning miniature toothpick thingies, and that'll let me get into that groove. Groovy, baby. Okay. And of course wind that strike pad down a bit. I'm going to be careful though, because I'm right above the screen when I do that. Okay, needs to be a little more. Okay, now it's sitting fractionally proud. Probably actually doesn't need to be proud. It probably should be closer to flush than proud. I guess we'll just reinstall the trackpad and find out. Oh, that's right, we've got to clean the edge first. Yeah, I can feel it on this side. You can see it building up there. And I can see it all here. It's good. Okay, let's put our screws back in. Just put the two in there for the moment until I can test this clicking. Oh yeah, now you can actually hear it. That's how it's supposed to be. Much better. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. I would laugh quite a bit, in fact, if I get a message back saying the customer complained that the touchpad isn't like it used to be. They liked it how it was all difficult. The clicking is too noisy. You know that can happen. Do you have a video showcasing daily tools and what you use in your workshop? I don't yet, Maven, partially because I don't feel like I'm at the point where I have all the tools that I feel like I want. The only thing I do have is my web page showing all of my current tools, and that's on my website, pldaniels.com /tools. And it actually shows my tools as opposed to people I think who are tools. Okay. Thanks, Christian. Christian, I've actually changed that now to it. That link works, but I've also got an alias that's just tools instead of repair items, just tools, just to make it easier for everybody. Okay, I'm going to plug the Wi-Fi in. So I don't have dangling cables. I've got to rip all this back out anyway because I've got to put this through the ultrasonic, but I want to give it a decent run first. Let's see. Right, connect the Wi-Fi up. Yeah, so it's not a name and shame page, at least not yet. There's got to be a tool to put these things on quicker and easier without using tips or tweezers. That's not corrosion, that's just like plastic from somewhere. Just in case people start thinking, oh my god, there's corrosion on his 342. Save him. So there's potential that it could be in the future. It may be. There may be a subsection down the bottom. Human tools. Yeah, it's probably going to get myself into more trouble than I'm worth if I do that. I'd probably end up creating a lot of negativity and bad karma amongst the internet. So inevitably I would probably lose in that scenario, so I guess it'd be best if I did not in fact participate in such silly childhood entertainment again. Okay, why do I have a perfectly good looking 1466 on the floor? Who are you belonging to? Oh, you belong to me. Yep. I treat my customers' stuff really good and I just treat my stuff like dirt. It's not a good way to do things. The instrument is called a hammer. Can't stop it. Okay, command option R. Oh, we've already done the pream reset. Hey Sam, how's it going? Ah, battery's flat. Whoops. Oh, let's see, Victor. So, Commander Stuart Menzies was one in charge, received the replica of Enigma machine from the Polish, and the BS4 began to build the high HQ of decoding the Bletchley Park during World War II. Oh, it was at Menzies, was it? Oh. There were some unfortunate and interesting days. The first half of the century, as it were. Hopefully we'll not have to return to such similar scenarios anytime in the future. For the Wi-Fi, what? Did you have it? No, I don't have a hard drive inside, no. I'm just kind of curious why it's taking this long. Ah, there we go. As with most things in life, you have to complain before things go your way. I don't really like the fact that life tends to be that way, but there is a lot of truth in the adage that the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and all those things associated like that. The complaining customer gets the attention. And what's the other one I know? It's the unreasonable man that creates change in the world. Things like that. I can't remember that proper quote. It's something about the unreasonable man. You can go back to the 1700s in your family history. We don't have a lot of that here in Australia because, at least so far as colonial activity goes, we don't have a lot of records. I'm unsure as to what my history is, other than that. Well, we may have convict and indigenous in us, so I don't know. I really don't know. It's not something I've bothered to check. Probably don't really, anyway. You're probably just a simple Spanish family out of the US or something, I don't know. Let's see. Hey Greg, complained to CSR and result is crickets or the boilerplate response. Haha, yeah. Need to leave. Okay, Victor, well, thank you very much. Take care. Have a good day. Sajian. Okay, we're charging battery. Let's get our proper boot system up. Only prison records. It might be like that, yes. I have a CC to explain the difference between RISC and CISC architectures. Oh, good luck with that. And more fun when you try to explain modern architectures, which are generally a blend of the two one way or another. Alright, let's get our temperatures up. Temperatures are looking good. Fan speed's looking good. Click actually clicks. It's still a little bit stiff. FaceTime work. FaceTime works. Do the microphones work? Whoops. Yep. That tab key does not work. Oh, no wonder. Right. Ignore me. Ignore the man in front of the curtain. Okay, the keyboard works fine. Let's run the valley. The problem was that I was trying to run an old command in the wrong path. So when it was looking for the file that I was trying to tab complete, it's like, there's no file here that will match that tab complete that you're requesting. So get stuffed. And I, of course, being a human, just kept hitting the button harder, assuming that by hitting it harder, it will make the computer think that it needs to try harder. Yeah. Okay, that's going good. We've got 25 to 30 frames per second happening. Everything's really going nicely now. See, Wi-Fi is working. Yeah. Alright, this machine's now fixed. I'll put it through the ultrasonic. We will do all this again once it's cleaned and reassembled properly. But at this stage, it looks like a success. Shut down. Sam, you can get the keyboard tester straight off GitHub. It's up there. So just download it and use it. It's free. It's out there. Get it. You know you want to. "50 tabs on my on your Chromebook." Oh, interesting that it's surviving that. I don't think I even ever have 50 tabs on my desktop. So that's quite a number you got there. We'll just prep this for the ultrasonic. Come on, let's come. It's getting late, so I need to get my ice cream. No one needs crotch cam. I'm a married man. We don't need crotch cam. That wasn't on very well. So we should see improvements on the temperature again once we've redone the heatsink as well. Hey, Carbon Black. Plus, it's not that kind of streaming service. That is true, Stuart, yes. How did I get into electronics? It's a bit of a mixed bag, really. I think when I was about... I always get my ages mixed up, but I think I was around about 7 or so, and I had an uncle, actually one of my only true uncles. Anyway, and he bought me I think it was a Radio Shack crystal radio set. Well, actually, was it crystal radio? No, actually it was a AM receiver, powered AM receiver set. I really didn't know what was going on. I was too young. Too stupid, too young, whatever. But I do remember the resistor values, because I remember him telling me, it's like these little pieces have different values. You can't, there's no numbers on them, you have to put the colors together to make the values. And so I do remember that bit. And then nothing much really happened. And then I was up in the Northern Territory, and I remember this one particular couple's place, and they lived out at Humpty Doo, which is a legitimate name of a place actually. It's just outside of Darwin. And they had one of those 101 in one electronic board kits that had all the springs and the different parts, and you just connected all the parts up with wire using the springs to grab onto the wire. And so it was about that point then I started to get the interest up, but living in the Northern Territory at that time, there really wasn't an opportunity to really do anything with it. Couldn't really afford to get anything. I was too young anyway. And it really wasn't until I was about 11 or 12. Yeah, about 11. And the neighbours had a Z80 computer of some sort, and I kind of commandeered that, completely discarding any notion of social decency, and obscured them from getting access to their TV to watch their daily soap operas. So, whoops. And after I got into that, I also found then, because the same store that sold the computer also sold electronics, I started to get into the electronics, and I was doing little FM bugs and a few other things, selling those off for a profit. So you buy the kit for $15 and then you sell it to suckers at school for $30, and it was a great way to make money. So and it's sort of been on and off, and it hasn't really been until the last 15 years or so that I've really heavily gotten back into electronics and started doing manufacturing, repairs, things like that. Between those times I was mostly doing software development or running around doing general IT. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag, jumping back and forth. So there you go, that's how it happened, Carbon Black. Remember using a song to remember resistor code codes. Okay, I never did anything like that, I just, tried really hard to remember the numbers. And it did pay off well, because when I don't know how many other schools did this, but I think it was year 10 at our school. I think there was a national maybe or a statewide aptitude test that everybody had to take, just to see how stupid we were. And fortunately, a large portion of that aptitude test happened to do with electronics and resistor codes and parallel and series resistors, on the assumption that the people taking the test may have never experienced this before, but because it was second nature to me. And anyway, and it turned out I ended up, I can't say I won the aptitude test because you didn't win it, but I got pulled over one day by the teacher and said, "Oh, you were the top scorer for the aptitude test." And I thought, "Oh, neat." But I think if it hadn't have been for the electronics section, I probably would have just been an average person. I kind of had a cheat leg up on that one, so I guess it doesn't really count. Don't forget the model planes. No, that too. Forgot about those. Manufacture and design of them, that was fun too for a while. Expensive, as they say with a lot of businesses, and model aircraft is one of those. If you want to make $1 million, if you want to get $1 million, start out with $2 million and open up a model aircraft business. That's the way it goes. Sorry to burst your bubble, but those tests are about military enrollment, at least here in the US. I don't know what they're really here for in Australia, but yeah. Anyway, it was nice to at least win something in my life, rather than being Mr. Runner-Up for everything. If it was for military, well, I never got tapped on the shoulder for anything like ASIO, which is kind of like the CIA of Australia, or is it the FBI of Australia? Anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, so this is going to go into the ultrasonic cleaning. We'll stick it up on the top there, ready for tomorrow. And let's see, I'll put that equipment in its proper slot. It could have been simply a test to see whether lead pollution from car exhausts had made a significant impact or backed off on the children in the area. Because it was around about the time that that sort of thing would have been, would have shown up or not shown up. Paul, you need more slots, buddy. I definitely need more slots because I'm now looking for that one that we have to do the what do you call it? We have to do the contact cleaner on. Where the heck did you go, buddy? Where are you? Ah, there you are. Jonathan Ter, that's probably about the most realistic option, yes. We did, of course, always have the annual math and science tests. That was always fun. Whoops. I think what I'm going to have to do is start putting names on the slots, like A1, B1, that sort of thing, so that I can also designate a board to a slot or a job to a slot. Because otherwise, just now I'm looking over there and I'm just blanking out. I'm like, I have no idea where this job is in the slot assemblies. And there's only 12 slots there, but it's enough to confuse me. Oh, Stuart's still with us. Why are you stuck there? I wasn't a huge fan of sport either. I mean, I didn't do too bad at it. I was like runner-up in javelin. I was good at squash. But they didn't really have a school team for that or anything. We had squash courts at the school built in the last 6 months that I was there. But it was, I don't know why they even bothered, because really the school was predominantly a rugby school. You know, that's what you get on a lot of these private schools, is they're like, let's beat our brains in and out on the rugby field, yay! Anyway, let's see, contact cleaner, let's hope. Hey Manfeld. Greetings from Manny from Cologne. Oh, okay. It's funny when you're growing up and you find out there's actually a place called Cologne, which is why Cologne is called Cologne, and likewise Champagne and things like that. It's the stuff you learn as you grow up. Okay, here we go, we've got contact cleaner. I hope to goodness sake that I do not actually spray this in my eyes. I can't get it much further. I think I'm just going to have to do it under the table, I'm sorry. I know you want to see, but I genuinely do not want spray back in my face. Oh yeah, it smells like contact cleaner. The only way we're gonna, yeah, we're just gonna have to use this a few thousand times, wear it out, and then when it does actually wear out, we'll know how many times it took to wear out, and at that point we'll know whether we had fixed it or not. Okay, well, it lasted 10,000 insert and retraction cycles, which is about in line with what we expected, so we did in fact fix it, but we're sorry it's broken now through wear and tear. I think that's going to be good. It is that darkened side wall where that pin is. The pin is popping up properly now, so I think we're on a win there. Yeah. Not much else I can really do. I'm certainly not going to disassemble anything. Margarita, what do you do? You already gave me your ice cream contribution for tonight, but thank you. I can't say no to more ice cream, of course. I'm fairly sure that's illegal, in fact. Steve K, what is your microscope camera in megapixels? I actually don't know. I really don't. Probably 2 at the most, maybe 5. I've never done still shots with it because, yeah, I've just never done still shots. Jim Hook, I was crap at sports. School introduced temping bowling as an option. That is always fun, yeah. I wish they'd offer that more. I think the problem that stops them with that is the expense of temping bowling these days. Nick469, can't donate. Premium YouTube account is still balked. That's why I have the contribute PayPal address. Not coercing you there, but just saying a lot of people do make contributions through the PayPal. Alrighty. So this, I don't know if I really need to ultrasonic or not. I can't remember now. I think we're pretty happy with it. And that contact cleaner isn't a residue lever, so we probably can put that into testing and see how that goes. Thanks, Jim and Christian. Thank you. I ordered the one in 21 megapixel. I find a lot of those high megapixel report cameras are actually either oversampled or just complete lies. Yeah, generally, pardon me, I keep hiccuping or whatever I'm doing. Let's see. There we go. Big head now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everything is soldered on that. I don't remember us leaving anything off that had to be changed back. The last thing we had was just simply to try and get that switch contactor to behave properly. I've given the contact cleaner on it. I don't think there's much more that we can do. So, yeah. Let's see. I just got back from the flea market. Picked up a MacBook Pro A1220. I hope it's a 12. Bulging battery. No clue if it works. No, I don't even know what the A1220. Are they those white ones? Plastic cased white ones? 1278 is probably about the lowest I would go these days. Bought Flex Boardview, so I'm not a total freeloader. Now there's a man who knows how to make me happy buying Flex Boardview. I had someone told me today they bought Flex Boardview a couple of days ago, and they told me today that they couldn't get it to work properly, which I understand happens. And then throughout the conversation they said, "Oh, do I have to have my own board views and schematics?" And I'm like, you managed to buy Flex Boardview and not notice that in the agreement that you have to agree to, which is only 3 items long, and they're all very short, and it's repeated twice, that it says no board view and schematics provided. So I'm a little bit beside myself with that one. Like, I put the price up in part because I needed to, because support, and I felt like it was a better match to getting the right people that would purchase it rather than people who really shouldn't be purchasing it. Now, I know it sounds silly. You think, why wouldn't you want everyone to purchase it? And it's because some people cost you a lot more than what you get for the software in terms of dealing with them. And I was getting heaps of, well, not heaps, but I was getting a couple of PayPal refund requests and things like that, because people would see the low price, they would assume that it's going to solve their problem before they would even take the time to read what it could or could not do, and not even test, say, Open Board View. And that was just driving me up the wall. So push the price up to make sure the market thinks twice before buying it, and then putting all of the 3 parameter requirements in to say, I can't give you board views and schematics. I would like to, but then Apple would also like to come and visit me, and they would not be kind enough to use this with me. So since I don't care for that, I decided, yeah, no board views and schematics, and they're so easy to find anyway. You just Google 820000165 board view, and bam, you've got 2 or 3 hits straight away. And if you can't do that, maybe don't be in this industry. Maybe, as they do in Bring It On, it's like, maybe you're just not tech material, so leave the industry, really. Learn to read, learn to understand what you're dealing with before just throwing money at it and assuming that you're going to acquire all these abilities through some sort of matrix osmosis download, because it's not going to happen. Alright, now I can read the comments where I've been raging. Load 'em. Oh, where's my phone? And I will read it out for you. I really need to be able to make the comments come up. There's so many software projects I want to do, but right now I'm getting busy with getting the house. I've contacted the bank. I'm filling out all the paperwork, basically all my financials, to give to them on Monday probably. And hopefully they will go for it. Hopefully they will do the... Here we go. Thank you very much. £5. More ice cream. Jeez. You know, I'm going to become like bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm going to have to find other people to eat my ice cream with me. I did a great job with the ganache last night, although I've got to admit it was perhaps maybe a little thick for ice cream. But what it was perfect for was for truffles, as in sort of bitter chocolate, dark chocolate balls that have got that perfect texture where it's not runny but it's not hard, and then you roll them in bitter cocoa, dry cocoa, and I love those things. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get diabetes at this rate. Let's see. Specs. Steve K. What do you mean? You mean specs of the camera that I use? Just hang on there. Because it's just a 1080, and the 60 hertz that it has on it isn't actually really 60 hertz. I mean, it does generate 60 frames per second, but I think it's just a doubled 30 frames per second representation. Wrong. That's better. Alright. So, wow, well, it's still pretty expensive. It's about, admittingly, it's about the same price that I paid originally for it. So yeah, it's a 1080, 60 frames per second, Sony IMX236. I don't think they actually even list what its still image output is. I don't think it actually has it as part of its specs. But yeah, this is it. So I'm currently using the USB port, whereas really I should be using the HDMI, and the USB is used for controlling it. Let's see, la 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 la. Yeah, it doesn't seem to actually have a megapixel rating. Keep going, we might find it. No. I guess that's how you know when a camera is actually designed for video work, is they don't bother with the pointless still frame pixel size. It's a fairly hefty camera. It's got some weight to it, which is all the more reason why you need the proper adapter on it, because you don't want that weight swinging around in the breeze on a rooster tail like with the original aim scope adapter, which is completely useless. Now these are all just stock images. Anyway, I can't see a megapixel rating on that. Elamine, just finished repairing an Air 2015-165 DD Rega naval missing. Wow, why was it missing? There are some in the $150 range now, similar specs. Yeah, you can get cameras the same spec. I gotta admit though, the Sony sensors, you really do notice the difference in the quality. Ah, there's the adapter that you gotta use for it. Yeah, these things, oh yeah, 100 wood. So you're paying like $700 for a camera setup, sitting on top of your $700 microscope. But the quality is noticeable. So you can get these other sort of, okay, this one's not too bad. If you got no other choice, at least get a brand name sensor like Panasonic or Sony. The difference is definitely there. Why you ever need the camera in the first place? If the microscope is good, there's no need for autofocus. It's not an autofocus camera. The camera is there for the recording purposes, because what will happen is I'll leave, let's see, oh well, that's Boardview. I will leave the microscope camera running all day. So basically, Open Broadcaster is recording everything I do throughout the day. And it's important that I do that, because if I have a customer ask me something about a particular, maybe there's an issue with the job, and I need to be able to go back and check to see what the work was that I did, or maybe I didn't solder a part on, or I accidentally put a bridge somewhere, or something like that. So having the camera recording constantly while I work is a vital thing for me to do. It's kind of like having security cameras. It literally is a liability security camera. And of course it has the nice side effect that it's good for YouTube too. You can put Linux on those pods. What pods? Gen 2 20 gig iPod. What? Nick469, you bought the adapter I recommend, and I get a black round border when I zoom in. You must have a sensor size that's different to... You've got a half-inch sensor, I guess? You have to get the right reduction based on what size your camera sensor is. If you've got a half-inch sensor, you should be getting a 0.5 reducer. If you've got a 1/3 sensor, or 1/8, you need the 0.35 reducer. So what's happening there is that you've got that mismatch, and so subsequently the field of view, I shouldn't say the field of view, well yeah, the field of the view of the camera is too wide, and so you're picking up the barrel walls. That's what's going on there. Do you store the videos? They're locally kept on, I don't know, I've got like a 4 terabyte hard drive in there, and so I don't even think twice about it. I just let it run. One day it will come up and it will say to me, you've run out of space, and when that happens I'll just pull the drive out of the caddy and then slot a new one in there. So it's kind of like the same I do with upstairs, where I've got the iPhone backup station. So it's just a simple little Windows machine. It's got a little 128 gig hard drive in it, SSD, but it's got a removable 3.5-inch caddy in it. And so I just put in whatever spare drive I've got lying around, wait till that fills up with customer backups of their iPhones, take it out, put a new one in there, and there's probably about 6 or 7 hard drives around the place, and they're all around about 1 to 2 terabytes. And so what you get there is that you have this very long time archive backup of your customer iPhones, because far too often, 12 months down the road, you will get a customer come back and say, you know, you fixed my phone last year. You didn't happen to still have a backup of it, did you? Because I've lost my phone, or I've smashed my phone, I've lost all my data, and I'd really like to get the baby pictures that are on it. And you can say, you know, I'm not sure. I can dig back through the archives. I might be able to recover the data maybe and see if I can get it for you, but it could be pretty costly. And then you just go along and you go tick, 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 look for their phone number and bring it up, and then you wait a couple of days, you know, And then you got to have that semi-serious look on your face and sort of go, it was difficult, but we managed to get your data back, and it's going to cost you this much. And no, that sounds far worse than what it really is. Anyway, I'm just playing up to that. Or am I? No, I am. And so, you know, you can make some people's lives a bit happier that way just by pure sort of accident. But be careful that you make sure you get the people to sign a contract or a statement indicating that they are aware that you are going to take that backup, or at least ask them, say, would you like me to back up your phone before I do any work on it, and explain to them that the backups can persist. Because if you take a backup of the phone and they find out and they didn't authorize it, then you're going to be in trouble. Backups, yes. People never have enough backups. Hey, my wife is here. Did you hear the fireworks earlier? No, I did not hear the fireworks earlier because I'm too busy ranting at all these people. Hello, Alita. Everybody, Alita, that's my wife. She's up there in her room writing her next novel and placating our cats. She's probably got Loki with her now. Very unusual to have my wife on channel. Not sure how I should react. I'm probably going to start blushing soon as I think of what I should or shouldn't do. Am I going to get into trouble? Or should I come up for ice cream? Yes. All of a sudden the husband's YouTube facade falls apart and becomes the man that he really is. What did you do wrong? Yep, JP's got the right questions. I think you already are, Paul. Yeah, well, I'm always in trouble. Anyway, no, I didn't hear the fireworks. Sorry, sweetie. But the joys of being mostly, well, not mostly, partially deaf at least. Anyway, and as you can see, this is the crowd of people that stick around. A couple of hundred of them. How many have we got on here at the moment? Let's see. 281 people. That's good enough. It's a little quiet for tonight, but I think Sunday night seems to be the best. Just make that ganache again. Yes, I need to make that ganache again. Is there anything you would like us to nag Paul about? Oh, come on. This is my only personal space here. It's been violated. Collision of worlds, as Jerry would say. Okay, let's turn off this. I don't need that on anymore. Alright, well, I think we're done for the night. Not because my wife has turned up, but simply because we have reached the natural end of the evening. There's nothing much else for me to do. I do have jobs for tomorrow, so there will be another live stream, all things going well. I prefer to try and space them out rather than just doing all as one great big 4-hour long cluster, because things usually go wrong in those long streams, and it typically results in me going upstairs and crying to my wife about how bad the stream was. So I think we'll leave it at that. Anyway, you'll take care, and I'll see you next time. And I'm going to go get my ice cream that you've all been paying for. I greatly appreciate it. I'll see you later.